On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu swears in Professor Joash Amupitan as Inec's new chairman. Armed police arrest activist Omoyele Sowore within court premises. Inec approves President Tinubu's proposal to overhaul training institutions of security agencies. On the foreign scene, President Putin says U.S. sanctions unfriendly act, but Russia won't cave in to pressure. Good evening. This is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Damilola Raphael. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Professor Joash Amupitan as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec. Professor Amupitan took the oath of office at 1:50 p.m. at the Council Chamber of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. President Tinubu charged the new Inec chairman to protect the integrity of Nigeria's elections and electoral process, as well as strengthen the institutional capacity of Inec. Amupitan's swearing in comes a week after the Senate confirmed his appointment as Inec chairman following a rigorous screening session on October 16. Following his inauguration, the newly sworn-in chairman addressed Inec staff and directors at his first official meeting. He stressed that achieving Inec's mandate would hinge on teamwork, discipline, and integrity within the institution, just as he pledged to uphold the high standards of transparency and accountability.
Distinguished guests, head of service, ladies and gentlemen, let me first begin by congratulating Professor Joash Amupitan on the appointment as the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Your nomination for the important role and the subsequent confirmation by the Senate is a testament to your capacity and the confidence reposed in you by both the executive and the legislative arm of government. The significant achievement marked the beginning of a challenging yet rewarding journey, and I trust that you will approach your responsibilities with the highest level of integrity, dedication, and patriotism. Our democracy has come a long way in 25 years. We have consolidated and strengthened our democratic institutions, particularly our electoral system, through innovation and reforms. We have learned a great deal along the way and have improved significantly from where we were many years ago. We must now remain committed to the principles that underpin democracy in a complex, multifaceted society. The electoral process is a vital part of a democracy, safeguarding the people's exclusive right to choose their leaders and shape their future. To ensure that our democracy continues to flourish.
Activist Omoyele Sowore was today arrested by armed policemen within the premises of a federal high court in Abuja, shortly after he appeared in solidarity with the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Sowore, who has been at the forefront of calls for Kanu's release from detention, was picked up by security operatives and taken to the Federal Capital Territory Police Command. Although Sowore queried the absence of a formal letter of invitation, he maintained that his lawyer must accompany him before he was eventually taken away in a police van. Confirming Showore's arrest in the post via his ex-handle, human rights lawyer Inebehe Effiong describes the move as outrageous, adding that the police and the presidency are both making a mockery of the judicial system. Effiong then demanded for his immediate release. In the meantime, the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed October 29 for the hearing of the suit filed by the police against Omoyele Sowore and other conveners of the Free Nnamdi Kanu Now protest held on October 20. The suit, originally scheduled for October 20 for the respondent in the ex parte motion to show cause why the interim order made by the court should be vacated, could not proceed. The hearing was stalled as a result of the protest, which was held on the same day, crippling the court activities at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Justice Mohammed Umar had issued an interim order restraining Sowore and others from protesting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu in some sensitive areas in Abuja. Justice Umar bars the protesters from demonstrating around the Aso Rock Villa, National Assembly, Force Headquarters, Court of Appeal, Eagle Square, and Shehu Shagari Way, pending the hearing of the motion on notice. The lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Kanu Agabi, has applied to withdraw from representing the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, stating that the defendant had taken the case back from them. All the senior advocates of Nigeria and the defense team have also withdrawn from the suit, a development Kanu himself confirmed in court. Kanu told the courts that he would be representing himself for now, though that might change later. When the judge, Justice James Omotosho, asked if he should be assigned a lawyer, he declines the offer. Defending himself orally, Kanu argued that the court lacks the jurisdiction to try him. The IPOB leader returned to the Federal High Court Abuja on Thursday to open his defense in the suit instituted against him by the federal government on alleged terrorism. The case is beside it. Kanu had listed former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, Minister of Works Dave Umahi, Governor of Lagos State Babajide Sanwo-Olu, a former Minister of Defense, General Theophilus Danjuma, retired, and others as part of his witnesses. Justice Omotosho adjourns the case till Friday, October 24, for Kanu to open his defense.
A number of us who have been defending Nnamdi, he has decided to conduct his defense by himself. He has a right to do so. We respect that decision, and we wish him well going forward.
And two security martyrs, troops of Operation Hadinkai, have defeated terrorist attacks on multiple locations across the Joint Operations Area in Borno and Yobe states. The Nigerian Army, in a statement today, explains that between midnight and 4 a.m., the terrorists launched coordinated assaults on troops' positions in Dikwa, Mafa, Gajibo, and Katako, situated in Sector 1, Borno, and Sector 2, Yobe, respectively. A statement noted the troops' gallant and valiant fight against the terrorists, professionally repelling their attacks. The Army stated that the coordinated offensive was supported by air platforms of the Air Component Command of Operation Hadinkai. It also disclosed that the troops recovered 38 AK-47s, 7 PKT machine guns, 5 RPG tubes, 2 GPMGs, and hand grenades, among others. Meanwhile, the National Economic Council, NEC, has approved President Bola Tinubu's proposal to overhaul all training institutions of security agencies in Nigeria. The approval followed concerns raised by the president on the need to renovate, remodel, and re-equip all training institutions of the Nigeria Police and other sister security agencies in the country. Briefing State House correspondent shortly after the 153rd meeting of NEC at the Council Chamber of the State House, Abuja, Governor Obasani of Kaduna State said the council also resolves that state governors should collaborate with the federal government in the overhaul project. He said NEC also set up a committee to kickstart an on-the-spot assessment of the training institutions. The committee is chaired by Governor Peter Rumba of Enugu State, who recently defected to the All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party. Other members of the committee include Governor Sani, Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State, and Governor Sule Abdullahi of Nasarawa State, among others. Former Inspector General of Police Usman Baba is to serve as secretary of the committee. The project, Sani said, would include not just training institutions owned by the Nigeria Police Force, but also those of sister security agencies. In the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution asking the Inspector General of Police and the Controller General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, to direct policemen at checkpoints operating in plainclothes to be fully kitted with proper identification. The lawmakers expressed concerns that the lack of identification for the security officials was not in line with international practices and did not allow for officer accountability.
Right. Also aware that the current security challenges facing the Southeast and the South-South geopolitical zones, particularly the activities of the unknown gunmen and other security and criminal elements, are rife. Worried that increasing trend of police officers of the NPF, highway patrol officers, as well as the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps personnel manning our checkpoints and conducting stop and searches around the countries are done in plain clothes, jeans, or incomplete uniforms without visible name tags, ranks, and thereby violating the established force order and security protocols. The House has observed that this gross lack of proper identification at checkpoints creates a dangerous climate of ambiguity, making it virtually impossible for citizens to distinguish between genuine security personnel and criminal impersonators, thus constituting a severe risk to national security and public safety. The House also observes that the alarming rate of extortion reports and harassment of abuse of power at these checkpoints, which is a significantly exorbitant amount, by our officers in plain clothes, is making it difficult to track and discipline these officers that are errant and extremely dangerous and fuels continued criminal impunity. Mindful that this matter assumes great security urgency during the seasonal periods which we are now approaching, where high volumes of families and citizens travel to and from the Southeast and the South-South regions.
Away from security matters, the House of Representatives has decried the arbitrary rent increases in Nigeria, calling for no more than 20% of the existing rent, irrespective of infrastructure improvements or other factors. This followed a motion by Basi Akiba on the need to regulate arbitrary rent increase and protect tenants from exploitation. The House urged the federal government to prioritize investing in affordable housing initiatives, ensure access to low-cost housing for citizens, and reduce pressure on the rental market. In Katsina State, Governor Dikko Rada has sworn in 3 new commissioners and 8 permanent secretaries, urging them to view their appointments not as rewards, but as solemn responsibilities to serve the people of the state with honesty, transparency, and a sense of duty. The sworn-in as commissioners include Yusuf Jibia, Aisha Malumfashi, and Sirajo Abukar. The governor emphasized that the swearing-in ceremony took place at a time when his administration is reviewing its performance after 2.5 years in office, with the intention of strengthening the civil service and enhancing its responsiveness to citizens' needs. The ceremony, held at the Katsina Government Council Chamber this afternoon, was attended by top government officials, traditional rulers, local government chairmen, and families of the appointees. Governor Rada describes the event as a renewal of commitment to good governance, accountability, and effective service delivery. In another development, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, NOA, Lanre Isa Onilu, says negligence and eroded values led to the Niger tanker explosion. In an interview this morning, the DG described the incident as frustrating and avoidable. He said it was very frustrating, but they saw it coming, noting that after the Dikko explosion earlier this year in Niger State, the president gave the agency a marching order to conduct a nationwide sensitization. He said the agency had engaged stakeholders, including community leaders, religious leaders, security agencies, and youth groups. The NOA boss blames the recurring tragedies on poor leadership at the community level. He noted that the agency findings shows that sensitization alone would not solve the problem, as people are aware of the danger but ignore it. The NOA chief further condemns the act of scooping fuel from falling tankers, describing it as criminal and morally wrong. He added that the behavior reflected the decline of moral values in society, stressing but spilled petrol is private property and taking it amounts to theft. The Tuesday incident in Esa community, Kachar local government area of Niger State, has claimed 42 lives and over 60 injured, according to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Still to come, Dangote Group denies ownership of truck involved in Akungba Akoko accident. We will bring you more on this when we return.
Party that held a lofty the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for himself as a wordsmith and a creative speaker. The nickname Kwenkelemens was a natively corrupted version of peculiar mess, his bombastic English language style often used to score proceedings at the parliament. The author of Africa in Ebullition, a handbook of freedom for Nigerian nationalists, was Nigeria's Federal Minister of Natural Resources and Social Services between 1955 and 1956. He died in an auto crash on the 25th March 1958 at the age of 42. Western Spring Television identifies Adegoke Adelabu as a watershed character in history.
You are welcome back. This is still news at 7 on Western Spring Television. A reminder of our headlines. President Bola Tinubu swears in Professor Joash Amupitan as Inec's new chairman. Armed police arrest activist Omoyele Sowore within court premises. Inec approves President Tinubu's proposal to overhaul training institutions of security agencies. On the foreign scene, President Putin says U.S. sanctions unfriendly act, but Russia won't cave in to pressure. Dangote Group has refuted reports circulated on social media and on some online platforms linking it to a truck involved in a road accident in Akungba Akoko Southwest local government area of Ondo State. The clarification comes after reports surfaced yesterday that 3 persons lost their lives in a road crash in the university town of Akungba Akoko. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Ondo State, who confirmed the incident, said the accident occurred when a truck loaded with stone dust and a motorcycle was said to have lost control and rammed into a barricade in front of the university. On the other hand, the PRO of the Student Union Government of Adekunle Ajashin University, Musa Doluwa Ajidagba, said the accident was caused by an articulated vehicle which claimed about 10 persons' lives. However, in a statement today, the Dangote Group clarified that the truck involved in the unfortunate incident does not belong to Dangote Group or any of its subsidiaries. The group maintains that it maintains a strict policy on fleet management and vehicles identification, ensuring that all of its trucks are properly branded and tracked. Elsewhere, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested 3 suspects in connection with the cultivation of cannabis sativa in Ekiti State. The NDLEA State Commander, Rufus Aina, said operatives destroyed a total of 125,750 kilograms of cannabis sativa during operations in forests in Igbara Odo and Ilawe Ekiti. A further 3,456 kilograms of the illegal substance was recovered. Aina's comments were made in a statement issued today by the agency's State Public Relations Officer, Assistant Superintendent of Narcotics, Ifeoluwa Fabiyi, in Ado Ekiti. The commander stated that the arrests, destruction, and recoveries were made during operations that took place between October 17 and October